Welcome to day 2 of STEAM Week. So today we're going to be playing with a program that's been out for a little while. It's called Scratch, and it was built by MIT up in Cambridge, Massachusetts. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to do some basic things in Scratch so that you can learn how to do program a little bit. Now, this isn't the same kind of programming you might see on your computer. If you were to pull up a website and look at its code, it's going to look very different. This is an easy way to get used to coding and what that logic might look like, because you have to make sure you're following rules as you go through. So this won't show you how to make a website, but it will show you how that logic may work. First, I want to show you this little introduction I made. So we're going to hit play.
Hello. Are you ready to learn about Scratch? Because we have a lot to learn. Maybe I'm going too fast. My name is Rosalind. What's your name?
My name is Zoe.
Zoe. Nice to meet you. We are going to practice using Scratch today.
And that's the little intro I made. So I'll show you real quick what it looks like on the inside. So if you will be sent a link that in the page will look like this, you can make it bigger, doing full screen. You can then hit the button See Inside, and that will bring you to, here. So this is what it looked like on the inside. Now this might look scary, but remember that this is something we're going to walk through and figure out how things work. And so you can see there's a bunch of little things here. I tell it to switch costumes. I tell it to talk, to show speech bubbles. I tell it to speak. I let it ask you a question. And so we're going to play around with this a little bit. I'm going to show you 2 other things that I've made to show you what other things that can be created. You can actually create games, which is really cool. So I have this little wizard frog. I'm going to reset him. So every time the wizard frog moves, I can try to click it and I'll get points. You can see I have a score. And you might have just saw a pink ball show up on this page. There's going to be little balls that come up. Let's hit the green one. Oops, missed. But it will give me more points when I click that. And it comes up less often. Oh no, it's up in the corner. So I don't know if we're going to hit the ball at this point, but you can see that you can do different kinds of games. You'll also have access to this so you can see inside and see what that looks like. The other thing you can do is make more artsy things. And so you might have seen a spiral graph. And so this is somewhat similar to that. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. I had it draw a triangle over and over again, and you can see it's rotating slowly. And so you can have a lot of fun with this and tell it to do all kinds of things. You will also have access to this to see what the inside looks like. I'm going to stop it right now because we're going around in a circle. So let me introduce you to Scratch. When you will type in up here, scratch.mit.edu, which will be in your PDF that you can look at the instructions for the day. And you'll be brought up to this page. And over in the right-hand corner, you'll have the opportunity to sign up or sign in. You don't have to sign in or create an account. That makes it, I don't know if you can share projects if you're not signed in. So if you want to share this with other people, you would want to create an account, but it's free. They don't send a ton of they don't send emails out or anything. So it can be a fun place to play. So then you would come over to create. So I'm going to hit that button and it'll bring me up to a project editor and it will give me a clean slate that I can play with. So here we are, we're on Scratch. I'm gonna move myself a little bit higher in the corner. There we are. And so here we are. You can see we have this center part, which usually is filled with other information. It's blank right now. We have a little cat here. And we have a bunch of different options of things we can do. So let's talk about some of the basics. So Scratch, it can tell your little sprite, your little character that you have to do different things. So for example, maybe I want it to move 10 steps. You can see it moved a little. I can tell it to move 10 steps again and again and again. I can make it glide to some random position. That's fun. Oh, that kind of brought us back to the middle. I can tell it to say something. Say hello. And it'll show the hello. I'll show you how to do the speech part in a little bit. Maybe you want something to show up, or maybe you want to hide it for a moment. Maybe it goes off scene. You can hide, you can show. But you can see that this doesn't quite look like what we had in the other one. Let me pull that up again. You can see there's a bunch of things connected, and that's what makes this work, is you're going to give it a set of instructions, just like you would have to follow instructions in order to make something, whether that be a craft project or baking or putting together some model of some sort, or even doing things like math. They have set instructions. You have to do it in a certain order. So we will work on that in just a sec. The next thing I kind of want to show you is you don't have to stick with this cat. You can actually choose any sprite that you want. If you come down here, you can hit choose a sprite. Now you can upload a sprite, so you can upload a picture. That's a little bit more advanced, so you may want to wait on that until you get a little bit more familiar with this. You can ask it to surprise you, and it'll pick a random one for you to use. You could paint something, so you could paint like a smiley face or a door or something, anything you want, you can paint, and you can tell it what to do, or you can choose a sprite. And this is what, so we have bear. I'm going to actually delete that first sprite. You also notice that the background is white, but it wasn't that way for our Click the Wizard Frog game or for our intro dinosaur. So we're going to show, so you can actually change the background here. They call them backdrops. So again, you can upload a picture. This is a little bit easier to do. So if you want to pick a picture that you have or off the internet, you can do that. You can have it surprise you, you can paint something, or you can choose a backdrop. And they have to one. So we're inside a castle. Cool. So how do you make this work? How do you make it so it moves and does things? So the very first thing you're going to want to do is go to events. That's the yellow one. And you're going to want to choose when the green flag is clicked. And that's how everyone will be able to start their projects. So when you go and you see someone's project, you can hit the green go thing.
Hello.
And it will start.
Are you ready?
You look at the code, these two have that at the beginning. It's like, this is what you do at the beginning. So we will use this for ours. We can make it do a lot of different things. I'm going to show you real quick different places you can go and use. So first off, Scratch has amazing tutorials, and they can show you how to do a lot of different things. So we're not going to go through all of these, but you can look through and watch these and figure out what you want to do. It shows you how to make a clicker game. I looked through that when I was trying to figure it out. You can make a chasing game. You can create animations that talk. You can create stories. You can create a Pong game. You can do lots of different things. And so this is a great way to learn how to do different things in Scratch. So feel free to explore those, and they even have them categorized at the top. We're not going to look at any of those right now. If you notice at the bottom here, it also says add extension. So if you look at that, you can see it brings up a bunch of different things. Most of these actually require Lego products, but it's really cool. You can like help program different things with your Legos. So you can look into those if you like, but these top 4 here don't require any other program. And same with the translate one. So you could make you make your creations talk. That was what the first one I had, so I added that. You can add a pen option, which is what I did for the spiral graph one where it made the triangles. So you can play with these and add them as you go. I'm going to show you guys some basic stuff to figure out what you might want to do. So usually, if you remember, when we played with the move 10 steps button, it moved your little sprite a few steps, but you notice like we just keep moving over. We never go back to where we're starting. So that's something you're going to want to keep in mind, is like, where do you want your sprite to start? I kind of like where it's right. Well, I kind of want it to be right here when it starts. So I could put that there. And I could say go to, and then it has these positions on here. So you can see there's an X and a Y axis. If you have done graphing in your math classes, you'll know that we have an X axis and a Y axis, and things can move around in those. You can see over here those values. I think it's super helpful because you can just move it to wherever you go and it will automatically change it. So if you don't want to figure out what that value is, you can just move it somewhere and tell it to go there. So I didn't want to figure out exactly what that position would have been numbers wise, and so I just moved the sprite there. I clicked it and dragged it. So every time I click that green flag, I want my bear to start here. So what do I want to do next? Maybe I want it to talk. I'm going to get rid of this step. So if you want to get rid of something, you would drag and hold it to bring it out, and you would drag and hold it to put it back. I believe you can also right click and you can duplicate something. You could add a comment. So maybe if you're working with someone or you want to remember why you did something, you can add a comment, or you can delete the block. So that all would work. So I'm going to actually have my bear say hello. So if I hit the green flag, it will say hello. And it says here that's going to say hello for 2 seconds. And I can change that to whatever time I want. So I can make that 5 seconds. I can make it 20 seconds. No, it doesn't matter. I can also change what he's saying. So I could say hello, but I think I'm going to add another one. And I'm going to say, hello, my name is Bear. My dad has a cat who actually is named Bear. So this is a little ode to her. So I'm going to make it 4 seconds. So then I would click it and it says, hello, my name is Bear. Cool. So then I can maybe I want it to move around. So I would go back to this motion corner. And so I can pick it to move in different ways. I can tell it to move direction, right or left. So that would be here, this move button. If it's positive, it's going to be moving to the right. But if I add a negative sign, it would move to the left. So you can pick how far you want to go. You can make it move. You can make it just suddenly go to a specific number. So if I change this to like positive 60, I could say, all of a sudden, I want you to go here. And it would move there. You can also glide, and so it would slowly move there, because in real life, we don't just appear and disappear in different spots. We move to those spots. So you can also glide. And so you could say, I want you to move to this point. And it would do that. So you can play around and figure out what you want it to do. I think I want it to move to the center. Like I want it to get a little bit more center. And I think I might want it to do like a little dance or something. So I'm going to actually say, and you can move this around too. Let me get rid of that as well. I kind of want my bear to move here. So that sets that up so it has the right numbers. And you can change how long it glides for. So if I click here, it says, hello, my name is Bear. and then it moves. So you can make that really fast. You could put it like half a second, so 0.5 or 0.1, or you can make it something like, 3 seconds if you want it to be a slow thing. So let's look at some other options we have. So here we have sound effects. So we can change some different sounds. So you would hit play sound and you can pick. So right now we have pop. It's very quiet. Can you hear? I'm going to turn it up. There we go. Let me turn it back down so we don't accidentally play something really loud. So that's rather quiet. But if you notice, you can record sounds. So you can put anything you want. So you could record yourself doing that, or maybe you can record your family or your pets, whatever you want to do, you can record it, which is really cool. So you would come up here and it would ask you to record something. So maybe I'm going to record me like, saying roar. Roar. So then you can pick what part of the sound, because I wasn't talking up here, I wasn't talking down here. Roar. There we go. It sounds like a roar-ish. Sounds like a human saying roar, but that's okay. So I would say that, and I'm going to call it roar. So you can see we got brought over to the sounds button. So there's these 3 tabs up top. So we have the code. We'll talk about costumes in just a sec. And we have noise. So this is the pop sound that we heard. And then this is my custom one, roar. So if I go down to my code, I can go and find roar. And I can add it here. And let's see what happens. So we start out again. It says, hello, my name is Bear. This is roar. And it says roar. And maybe I want it to say roar and show the word roar. So maybe I'll add that. So that would be under looks. Also, as a note, we were talking about saying, but it can also think things. So if you hit that, it becomes a little thought bubble instead, just as a note. So I'm going to add this. I'm going to have it say roar. I'm actually going to pull this apart for a second, see how this works. Roar. Okay, so something you might have just noticed, it said roar and then it showed up. So maybe I want it the other way. Let's see what that looks like. Roar. So if you notice, there's this until done. So that means nothing else can happen until that sound is done. So maybe I would just want to start the sound. So let's see what it looks like there. Roar. See, then it shows up at the same time. So, but you might want to wait until some sound is done before you start something. So you're going to have to pay attention to which ones you're using. So I'm going to get rid of this one. And we're going to add this to the rest. You also notice that I pulled it apart. That way I could test this one piece without having to test the entire thing again. So you can feel free to do that. But once you put it together, it will want to test all of it, which is a good thing. So then these other things in control, sensing, operation, variables, and blocks, those are a little bit more complex. You can watch some of the tutorials to see what they do there. I'm going to show a little bit of control. So maybe you, like we were talking about with the sound ones, it had, play the roar sound until done. So it had to wait, whatever was next had to wait before it could start. And so you can do this with any controls. You can tell it to wait so many seconds. And so maybe I want it to glide. I want the bear to move to the center, and maybe I want it to wait a second before it roars. So I could pull that in. So let's see what this looks like now. Hello, my name is Bear. Moves to the center, waits a second, roar, and there it roars. So you can play with that. You can have it to repeat something, and so you'll see it has like this hole in the center. So maybe I want it to roar multiple times. So maybe I would put this in here, and then it would repeat whatever's inside 10 times. Now that would be a little annoying, so I'm only going to do it 2 times just to show you what it would look like. Roar, roar. There you go. So you can do that. That can make things a lot simpler. If you're doing like an action over and over again, you will use these kinds of things. You will see that in the spiral graph one. I'm pretty sure there was some repeats. You will also see that in the game one I made. So you can play with this as much as you want. You can see there's some other ones. Feel free to play around. Anytime you see these little, like, I guess these are non-regular hexagons, those are these things. You can see that there are different values that you can play with. Again, this is one that you're going to probably want to go and play with tutorials if you want to. So